The rain began as a whisper against the glass roof of the upscale restaurant, but soon it grew into a steady, nervous drumming one that echoed the tension simmering beneath every polished surface. Guests murmured over candlelit tables, unaware that the night was about to tilt into something unforgettable, something that would alter reputations, relationships, and destinies. At the center of it all stood Maya, a young black waitress whose quiet presence carried more weight than anyone in the room realized. She had worked here only 3 months, long enough to memorize every menu detail, every regular customer's quirks, and every way to avoid unnecessary trouble. But tonight, trouble came looking for her. It arrived in the form of Gregory Hale, the billionaire whose name alone could freeze conversations mid-word. People admired his brilliance, feared his temper, and speculated about the secrets coiled beneath his ruthless rise to power. Maya had never seen him this close before, yet she recognized him instantly. Gregory sat at his reserved table near the fireplace, tapping an impatient rhythm with one manicured finger. His watch gleamed under the crystal chandeliers as silent, a reminder of everything he possessed and everything he could destroy. The room seemed to tilt toward him in anticipation, waiting for his next command. Maya approached with the soft professionalism expected of her, though her heartbeat thundered louder than the rain. "Good evening, sir," she said, setting down his wine with practiced grace. But Gregory didn't look at the glass. He looked at her directly, sharply, as though trying to read a message written somewhere on her face. His eyes narrowed with an intensity that could unsettle even the bravest soul. Maya held her breath. "You're new," he said, though it wasn't really a question. "Yes, sir." He nodded slowly, his gaze drifting to the tray, then back to her. "And you're trembling?" She hadn't realized she was. A tiny tremor ran through her wrist, subtle but real. She tried to steady it, but the billionaire's scrutiny made the air feel heavier. Guests at nearby tables glanced over, curious, sensing that something unusual hovered on the brink of happening. Gregory lifted the wine glass, swirling the deep red liquid before taking a measured sip. Then, without warning, he slammed the glass down. The sharp cracks startled half the room. Conversations died instantly. Heads turned. "This isn't what I ordered," he growled. Maya blinked, stunned. She had checked the label twice. "Sir, it's wrong," he snapped, rising from his seat. His voice sliced through the room like a blade. "Is it so difficult to follow instructions? Or are you just incapable?" The insult stung, not merely for its cruelty, but for the cold precision with which he delivered it. People stared in stunned silence, unsure whether to intervene or pretend they saw nothing. A flicker of humiliation passed across Maya's face, followed by something stronger, something steady, unyielding, almost hopeful. Because tonight, she had come prepared. She had known this moment would arrive. She had waited for it, rehearsed for it, feared and hoped for it in equal measure. Her entire future balanced on the next few seconds. On the courage she had spent years gathering. Slowly, Maya lifted her eyes, and Gregory Hale, for the first time in his life, stepped back. The storm outside rumbled louder, as though urging her to finally speak now. Gregory's step backward was slight, almost imperceptible, yet to everyone watching it felt like a shift in gravity, as if the room itself sensed something powerful stirring beneath Maya's calm exterior. The air vibrated with the tension of unspoken truths, thick enough to slow every breath. Patrons leaned forward, unaware that hope small but fierce began blooming inside the young waitress.
Ow.
Something about the way Maya held herself, shoulders squared, gaze steady, sent a faint tremor of unease crawling up his spine. He opened his mouth to speak again, perhaps to reassert dominance, but Maya gently lifted her hand, not in defiance, but in quiet request. The gesture was so unexpectedly graceful that several guests gasped. "Sir," Maya began, her voice steady. "Despite the storm raging in her chest, I think there's something we need to discuss before this goes any further." Gregory stiffened. His fear flickered beneath his composed expression, brief, but unmistakable. Others saw it too. Billionaire frightened by a waitress. Impossible. Yet every person in the room felt the balance of power tilting. Maya took a slow breath, remembering her mother's words. "One day, truth will need your courage." She hadn't known what that meant until tonight. She reached into her apron pocket, fingers brushing the edges of the old photograph she had carried for years, creased, faded, dangerous. A message hidden inside it had led her here, to this man, to this exact moment. Gregory noticed the movement. His breath hitched. "What are you doing?" he demanded, though there was a waver in his voice that betrayed him. Maya didn't answer immediately. Instead, she scanned the room. Soft piano music hummed in the background. Contrasting sharply with the rigid fear tightening Gregory's posture, rain streaked the glass, turning the world outside into a blur of silver hope. She finally spoke. "Sir, I'm not here by accident." The words landed with the force of a dropped stone. Gregory blinked rapidly, unable to mask the panic rising in his throat. Maya stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Tonight is about truth," she whispered, "and hope that what I'm about to tell you will change everything." Gregory swallowed hard. The room seemed too quiet, too aware. Somewhere behind the bar, a glass clinked, but no one dared move. The storm outside raged louder, as though urging Maya onward, urging Gregory to listen. Maya's fingers tightened around the photograph in her pocket. "Before you yell again," she said softly, "you should know. You're not the only one who came here tonight expecting a confrontation." Gregory froze. Something in her tone, quiet, resolute, undeniably brave, made fear crawl beneath his skin. He took another step back, his confidence cracking like fragile porcelain. Maya lifted her chin, hope flickering in her eyes like a fragile flame refusing to die. "There's someone else here," she whispered. "Someone connected to you. Someone whose life you changed without ever knowing." A cold shiver rippled through Gregory's body. He scanned the room but saw only shadows, shapes, and uneasy faces. The truth pressed in on him like an invisible weight. Maya took one more step forward, her breath trembling but her resolve unshaken. "Ash, before this night ends," she murmured, "you will understand why I'm standing here and why everything you believe about your past is about to fall apart." Hope flickered again, delicate but determined, as the storm growled overhead. Lightning flashed across the ceiling, casting sharp shadows as every guest watched, breathless, sensing that the truth hovering between them was moments away from erupting into chaos tonight. The lightning faded, but its ghost lingered in the restaurant, illuminating fear in Gregory's eyes and resolve in Maya's. The tension between them had grown so thick that the room felt smaller, tighter, as though the walls themselves leaned in to listen. Somewhere in the corner, a nervous guest cleared his throat, but no one else dared move. Everyone sensed that whatever happened next would peel open secrets buried far deeper than a spilled glass of wine. Gregory exhaled shakily, attempting to regain the control slipping from his grasp. "You're playing a dangerous game," he muttered, but the threat carried no teeth. His hands trembled visibly now, betraying the confidence he once wielded like a weapon. Maya pressed her fingers against the photograph in her pocket, drawing strength from its familiar worn edges. She remembered clutching it the day she discovered the hidden message, the day everything she believed about her own life and Gregory's shifted forever. Tonight, that message pulsed like a heartbeat, urging her forward. "Sir," she said quietly, "you deserve the truth, whether you want it or not." Gregory inhaled sharply, as if bracing for a blow. "Truth about what?" Maya's gaze softened not with pity, but with a hope so fragile it gleamed like glass. "About your brother." The room inhaled as one. Even the rain outside paused, softening its roar against the windows. Gregory's face drained of color, the mention of his brother slicing through years of suppressed grief and buried guilt. "My brother is dead," he snapped, the words brittle. "He died a long time ago." "No," Maya replied gently. "He disappeared." "That's not the same." Gregory's breath faltered. "What do you know?" he whispered, barely audible. Maya slowly withdrew the photograph from her pocket. Its faded edges and blurred ink seemed insignificant to anyone else, but to her it was a compass, a key, a promise. She held it out to Gregory, her hand steady, despite the pounding of her heart. He stared at it, eyes widening as recognition struck. "Where did you get that?" he demanded, his voice cracking like dry wood. "My mother," Maya said. "She kept it hidden for years. She never told me why." until she was dying. Hope, delicate yet stubborn, glimmered in her expression as she continued. She told me to find you. She said the message written in the frame was meant for you and for me. Ah! Gory's throat tightened. He reached for the photograph with trembling fingers but stopped midway, terrified of the truth it carried. What message? Maya turned the photo around, revealing the back. The ink, though faded, was still readable. Find her. Protect her. She's the only way the truth survives. Gasps erupted across the room. She, Gregory repeated, barely breathing. Who is she? Maya stepped closer, her voice gentle but resolute. Your daughter. Gregory staggered back as though struck. I don't... How could you know? Because, Maya whispered, she's connected to me. To my mother. To your brother. To everything you've tried to forget. Gregory pressed a shaking hand to his forehead. For years he had locked away the memories of the night his brother vanished, the arguments, the secrets, the accusations. He had buried the possibility that his brother's disappearance was tied to something darker than simple tragedy. Maya saw the turmoil in his eyes and spoke more softly. Your brother didn't abandon you. He didn't betray you. He was protecting someone important. And he left clues because he knew the truth would surface one day. Gregory stared at her, broken, breathless. Why now? He whispered. Maya swallowed, hope trembling within her. Because she's here tonight. The room fell into numbed silence, as if the world itself held its breath, waiting for the truth, about to step out of the shadows. Asterisk, a chill swept through the restaurant, subtle but unmistakable. As though the storm outside had slipped beneath the doors and wrapped icy fingers around every waiting heart. Gregory stood frozen, breath shallow, pupils dilated, staring at Maya as if she had spoken a prophecy instead of a sentence. The words, she's here tonight, echoed in his mind with a weight that threatened to crush him. Well, do you mean she's here? Gregory stammered, his voice cracking under the pressure of fear and disbelief. His composure, once unshakable, crumbled piece by piece, revealing a man unprepared for the ghosts of his past. Maya held her ground, though she felt her knees trembling. Hope pulsed through her, not a loud hope, but a quiet, determined one. It reminded her of her mother's last days, of whispered truths and gentle warnings. Your daughter, she said softly, didn't want to face you until she was sure. Sure of what? He snapped, though the fire in his voice was dimmer than before. That you would listen, Maya answered. Gregory inhaled sharply, guilt slicing through him like a blade. He scanned the restaurant, eyes darting to every shadow, every figure, searching for a face he had never seen but feared he might recognize. Chairs creaked as guests leaned closer, captivated, unable to look away. Maya clutched the photograph tighter. The hidden message on its back had led her here, but it wasn't the only secret tethering her to Gregory's brother, or to his daughter. She took a deep breath. Your brother left clues because he knew what would happen if the truth stayed buried. Gregory shook his head, bewildered. Why didn't he come to me himself? Why send? He gestured at her helplessly. A stranger. Maya's heart twisted, because sometimes strangers carry the safest truths. He stared at her, confused and terrified. I don't understand. You will, she murmured. Soon, at that moment, the lights flickered once, twice before steadying. A ripple of unease swept through the room. Gregory's breath caught. Is she here now? Maya nodded slowly. Yes, and she's been watching everything. Before Gregory could respond, the kitchen doors swung open with a soft push. A hush spread instantly, as though the very air bowed in anticipation. A small silhouette stood behind the swinging door still, hesitant. Bracing for the moment she could no longer hide, Gregory's knees threatened to buckle. No, this can't. Maya stepped closer to him. She didn't come to destroy you. She came for the truth. She wants answers too. Gregory's voice shook. Why would she trust you instead of me? Tears pinched the corners of Maya's eyes, but she blinked them away. Because your brother trusted me first. The words struck Gregory with the force of a collision. Memories flashed arguments between him and his brother, warnings ignored, secrets dismissed. For years he had pushed aside suspicion, convinced himself he was protecting the family legacy. But now the truth clawed at him ruthlessly. He whispered, what was he protecting? Maya hesitated. A promise. A life. A truth dangerous enough to ruin everything if mishandled. Gregory swallowed hard. And my daughter. She knows this truth. She knows part of it, Maya replied softly. But she's afraid of the rest. Something broke inside him, pride, old anger, stubborn certainty. He swayed slightly, gripping the back of a chair to steady himself. Tell me, he pleaded, voice raw. Tell me what I don't know. Maya looked toward the kitchen, where the hidden figure trembled like a secret on the verge of breaking free. Hope shimmered faintly between them. Fragile, trembling, but alive. Not me, she whispered. She will. The silhouette began to step forward, and the entire restaurant held its breath. The figure behind the kitchen door hesitated, her outline trembling as though caught between two worlds, one built on fear, the other on truth. Gregory's breath hitched audibly. His hands, which once commanded entire corporations with confidence, now shook so violently he had to grip the edge of the table for support. The storm outside rumbled, thunder matching the chaotic rhythm inside his chest. Maya stepped slightly to the side, giving the girl a clear path. It's okay, she whispered gently, her voice carrying a tender reassurance that wrapped itself around the moment like a quiet shield. You're safe. He's listening. Gregory flinched, almost as if the words wounded him. Listening was something he had rarely done, especially with those he cared about. The realization stung. Slowly, the door pushed open wider, revealing a young girl no more than 16, her hoodie pulled low, her posture tight with the weight of secrets she was too young to carry. Gasps swept across the restaurant like a wave. Something about her posture, her eyes, her trembling hand struck Gregory, the familiarity so fierce it nearly knocked the breath from him. Their eyes met. Hers were a stormy gray, hauntingly identical to his brother's. Gregory staggered back, one hand covering his mouth. Tears welled, but he blinked them away stubbornly. It can't be. Not her. Why would she? Maya placed a soft hand on his arm, grounding him. Because she didn't have anywhere else to go. The girl swallowed hard, stepping out fully into the open. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Hi." Gregory, he winced at the name, a low groan escaping him. You know who I am? But I don't even know your name. She hesitated, then said Lena. Maya nodded encouragingly at her. Go on. Lena took a shaky breath and continued. I didn't come here because I wanted to. I came because someone needed you to hear the truth. Gregory's face twisted with agony. Your mother? Is she the one who... No, Lena cut in quickly. I never knew my mother. She paused, blinking away tears. But I knew your brother. The restaurant fell silent again. The storm outside seeming to lean against the glass as if listening. Gregory's lips trembled. My brother was alive long enough to protect me, Lena whispered. To hide me. To keep me away from people who would have used me to hurt you. Gregory went rigid. Used you how? Lena exchanged a glance with Maya, who nodded gently. It was time. My existence, Lena said, clutching her hoodie strings tightly, was the one secret that could dismantle everything you built. Your brother found out that powerful people wanted leverage over you. So he took me and ran. Gregory felt the world tilt violently. His brother hadn't abandoned him. He had sacrificed everything for him. Maya stepped forward, her voice soft but steady. He didn't leave because he hated you. He left because he loved you more than you ever realized. Gregory pressed trembling fingers against his eyes. A broken sound slipped from him, half sob, half disbelief. Hope flickered inside him, painful, fragile, but real. Why didn't he tell me? I could have protected, no, Lena whispered. You were the one they were trying to hurt. He believed keeping me hidden would keep you safe. Gregory's shoulders sagged. I thought he betrayed us. Betrayed me. He saved you, Maya, said gently, and he saved her. Lena stepped closer, just one small, brave step. But now the people he hid me from, they know. They're looking. And they're close. Gregory's head snapped up, fear slicing through him. What do you mean close? Lena's voice trembled. I didn't just come to tell you the truth. She swallowed. I came because they followed me here. The restaurant fell into terrified silence. Asterisk for a moment, no one breathed. The restaurant, once filled with soft chatter and the clinking of glasses, now felt like a sealed chamber, bracing for something catastrophic. Gregory stared at Lena, as if her words had turned the floor beneath him into thin, cracking ice. They followed you? He whispered, his voice strained with fear he could no longer hide. Lena nodded, her shoulders curling inward. I tried to lose them. I went through the alleys, took the back streets, switched buses, but someone was always there, watching, waiting. Her voice quivered. And when I walked in here, I felt it. They weren't far behind. Maya stepped protectively beside her, her jaw tight. Hope glowed faintly in her eyes. Hope that the truth had finally united them. But the glow flickered under the shadow of growing danger. We need to move, she said quietly. Gregory snapped out of his daze, wiping the panic from his features as he shifted into a mode Maya had only seen glimpses of in news interviews. Sharp, decisive, calculating. Yet even in that sudden display of power, fear trembled beneath every word he spoke. Who are they? He demanded. What do they want now? Lena clasped her hands tightly together. Leverage. Against you. Against everything you have? Her eyes shimmered with tears. She struggled to blink away. Uncle Rowan tried to warn you years ago. He said your success came with enemies you couldn't imagine. The mention of his brother's name, spoken so simply, so naturally, knocked the air from Gregory's lungs. Rowan, he whispered, aching. He was trying to protect both of us. Maya nodded gently. He knew a secret child could destroy you in the wrong hands. But in the right hands, she looked meaningfully at Lena. She could save what matters most. Gregory swallowed hard, meeting Lena's eyes for the first time without fear or denial. I'm not letting anyone hurt you. I won't fail you the way I failed him. Lena's breath hitched at his sincerity, but before she could respond, the restaurant lights flickered. Once, twice, then steadied again. But the brief darkness sent a collective shiver through the room. Maya's voice dropped to a whisper. They're here. A low hum of panic rippled through the guests as they realized this was no longer a dramatic family revelation. They were in danger. Do? A couple near the window stood abruptly, looking outside with alarm. I just saw someone. The man whispered to his companion. Standing by the cars, watching. Gregory stiffened. We need to get to a secure place, now. But as he reached for Lena, the restaurant doors swung open with a slow, deliberate creak. Cold air flooded inside, chilling the room instantly. Every head turned. The storm outside raged behind a tall figure framed in the doorway, cloaked in shadow. Rainwater dripping from the edges of a dark coat. Maya felt Lena flinch beside her. Gregory instinctively stepped in front of them both. The figure took a single step forward, silent, controlled, terrifying. Gregory Hale, he called, voice low and icy. You've been very hard to reach. Gasps broke out around the room. Someone backed into a table. A wine glass shattered. Gregory narrowed his eyes, shielding Lena behind him. Stay away from her, the man tilted his head. Her. Oh, we're beyond that. His gaze slid to Maya, lingering with chilling awareness. The girl, the waitress, the truth your brother died for. All of it ends tonight. Lena whimpered. Maya grabbed her hand, squeezing tightly. Gregory squared his shoulders, voice trembling but defiant. You're not taking her. A slow, cold smile curved the man's lips. I'm not here for her. He stepped fully into the light. I'm here for you. The door slammed shut behind him, and the storm outside finally broke open.